Hello everybody, I'm Manny and welcome back to my guided playthrough. I'm actually just continuing from my last recording, so I will just go to this area right here. From now on I won't always check the quests because I am already experienced and I do know where to go. If you play the game for yourself, then feel free to check the quest log or the map area to see where you need to go next. And we will just continue here. Also, people usually have different ways how they play through the campaign. Other people may prefer doing other quests first. I'm just used to do it this way right here. This is the way I need to go for a quest, but I don't want to go there now. Once again, like in 2 episodes before, I will just leave my portal there and take the waypoint in this area. And now I go through a portal again and down to the questing area. I'm not sure if I showed you strong boxes before. But this one right here is a strong box. They, like enemies and items, they also have different rarities. They come in normal with the white text, in magic blue ones, then in yellow and also unique. Well, the yellow would be rare and unique the brown one or golden one. And if you click on it, they open and they spawn enemies. The normal ones are usually not really a challenge, but later on, if you have some rare ones, they can have different effects when you open them. And one of the effects that I'm always looking out for is when they cast an Ice Nova, because later on in the game that does quite a lot of damage. And so I usually teleport away right after I click it, because the Ice Nova is a little bit delayed. So I will open the box and 1 or 2 seconds later the Ice Nova will happen. Okay, here's my new quest reward. I could actually use a life flask, but I will get this anyway. So for now I will just take the rear leather belt. Still no movement speed on the shoes, but other sockets and some more life. And this one, life, strength, mana, lightning resist, and mana flask recovery. Not that useful, but okay. A nice belt for leveling. One of these quests in this area is that you... Okay. Yeah, I can do it right now. One of these quests right here has have you decide if you want to help some bandits or kill them. And there are 3 bandits. If you help one of those 3 bandits and kill the other one, or the other 2, then you would get some rewards depending on what bandit you decided to help. But the other option is to kill all 3 bandits, and then you will be rewarded 2 skill points that you can use. In most guides that I have read, and most of the time that I play the game, I will just use the two skill points by killing all bandits, because it gives me more flexibility. But if you have a build that can benefit from the reward that you get, then you could also help one of the bandits. Because usually the rewards give you specific things. Well, you would have to decide for yourself. But right here, you can see this item is highlighted more than the other ones. This is a gem that dropped. And if you look at the fourth line in the tooltip, it says quality 10%. So in this case, I don't really care about what gem this is. I only care about the quality, because there is one recipe in the game when you sell items to an NPC. And that is if you sell quality items that grant you in combination 40% or more increased quality on a gem, then you will get an item, a currency item, that helps you increase the quality of other gems. That is very useful later on in the game. And the same recipe also works for flasks, and it will give you a currency item that can increase the quality of flasks, which is also very useful later on in the game, because higher quality flasks, if it's a life or mana flask that has the quality increased, then it will heal for more or regenerate more mana. Okay, maybe you have seen it, but here the white line that you have seen, that was the ice nova I was talking about before. But back to equality. For life and mana flasks, you will just heal for more or regenerate more mana. And for utility flasks, like this Quicksilver flask for my movement speed, they will have the duration increased with higher quality. So the effect lasts longer, which is very helpful. And for gems, they usually, well, every gem has a specific effect for its quality. And if you raise the quality, then you just get another effect. So if we look at the life tap support here, and we look at the blue line, at the blue text, you can see supported skills cost life instead of mana. That's always there. Then supported skills deal 5% increased damage. And I think that's the quality. Can we see it this way? Yes. With the advanced tooltips, you can see on the bottom, the blue and the white line, additional effects from quality. Supported skills deal 5% increased damage. And in brackets, you can see the range. It goes from 0 to 10%. And the maximum quality of a gem, well, the regular maximum quality of a gem is usually 20% if you craft it yourself, but there are ways to increase the quality further. But let's just say 20% is the regular way. And if you ever at the point where you can increase the quality further, then you're not in the beginning stages like in this playthrough anymore. So, this is something else. I may accidentally go too far ahead with some information, and if that happens, I'm sorry, because this could also confuse more than it can help, I think. But honestly, I don't know how to really control it, because some information is just there that I already know, and later on in the game it can be helpful, but in the beginning it's usually just an information overload. So yeah, there's another Trial of Ascendancy now. that I want to do. This one compared to the first one, you can see it's also already a little bit more complex. There are new traps like these spinning spiky things right here. I just try to avoid them. I'm usually very bad at these trials or later on in the labyrinth itself. I just try to go through them as fast as I can usually. Here, now we can see I've completed the second one and there are 4 more remaining. Yes, but if I give you too much information that is for later on in the game and not for the stage we are currently at, and you feel overwhelmed or think that it would be better if I focus even more on preventing this, then please also let me know in the comments. It's always good to be reminded to keep an eye on something that I should or should not do. This was another currency item, an Orb of Alteration. Okay, and now that I look at my mana, I think I overleveled my clarity and vitality a little bit because my mana is already pretty low, my available mana. Because if we take a look at them again, I think I have already said that before, but these reservation skills here, these two in particular, vitality and clarity, the higher the level, the more mana they reserve. And I know that in this area I get other reservation skills with percentage reservation. So one of them just reserves 35% of my mana. Then there are others that reserve 50% of your mana. And I would like to use some of those as well. And what he's doing, he's cursing my minions and myself. Right here, this red one, you can see here, is vulnerability, which increases melee damage that I take, well, physical damage, and also gives enemy that hit me a chance to make me bleeding. And I think I explained bleeding before. It's just a damage over time effect that deals physical damage, and while I'm moving, I take increased damage from bleeding. Okay, there's a quality life flask. I also want to keep this. And I just upgraded my flask because there are also different tiers, and higher tier life flasks heal you for more. And okay, yes, this ring I picked up for 2% more cold resist. And many things that I'm doing is just out of habit. You don't need to do these things. I'm just doing it because I'm used to it. And one of the things that I do is I keep my quality flasks and gems in the beginning, because very early on, these two items right here, the Glassblower's Bauble, that increases quality of flasks, and the Gem Cutter's Prism, which increases the quality of gems, but both only do 1%. Well, the Gem Cutter's Prism increases the quality of a gem by 1%, and the Glassblower's Bauble, if you use it on a magic item, I think it's 2%. If you use it on a normal flasks, then you increase the quality of the flask by 5%, and on unique only 1%. I think that's how it goes. For the specifics, I can just suggest that you check out the wiki. That's always good. If you don't know something, you can always check out the wiki, and I will leave the link to the wiki also in the comments. But I usually only craft flasks once each league, and for that I use just normal flasks for the glass blowers bubble, and so I always get the 5% per use. Here we come to our first bandit for the quest. And if I talk to the bandit, he will give me some story. And then here you can see the bonus that he will get. So if I help this bandit, then I would get increased attack and cast speed. I would have some chance to avoid elemental ailments. I'm not quite sure if I already explained these, but like cold damage, for example, can slow you or even freeze you. I think I explained it in the second video. And this is an elemental ailment. So all ailments that come from fire, that is ignite, or lightning damage, that is shock. Shock increases the damage you take from hits. Or the cold ailment is freeze or slow, and you can receive this when you take cold damage. And if you have 100% chance to avoid elemental ailments, then you're basically elemental ailment immune. He would give you 6% or 10%, so maybe it's useful for you. And some increased movement speed. Movement speed would be nice, but I prefer the 2 skill points. So I select here kill, and if you want to get this bonus, you would have to select help. Later on in the game, there is also a way to change the bandit bonus. There is a vendor recipe for this, and if you ever need it, I would once again suggest that you check the wiki. If you search for vendor recipes in the wiki, then you will get to the page where you can find all the vendor recipes. My damage is actually pretty low at this point. I would like to have some more. Last time I leveled the Summon Raging Spirit character. I had some items that increased my damage by quite a bit. Now that I think of it, maybe we should check out a specific vendor recipe. Because if you can remember, the damage of my minions increases when the skill gem increases. So if I have my Summon Raging Spirit gem at a higher level, then my minions will have more life, more attack, more damage, and a higher chance to hit enemies. So increasing the level of your minion skill gems is a good way to increase your damage as well. And one of the vendor recipes is that you can sell some items to get a weapon, more specifically a wand, that increases the level of a specific type of skill gems. And there is one recipe to give you +1 to all fire skill gems. And if we look at the tags of my Summon Raging Spirit again, the first line in gray, the spell Minion duration fire. So it has the fire tag. And if I get a +1 to fire skill wand, then my Raging Spirit would be 1 level higher. And therefore increase my damage, which would be very nice. Okay, you know what? Let's actually just check it out together. I will switch back to my browser. Now I will open the wiki and I will just look for in the recipe system. I think that's the correct page. Okay. And now let me look for fire. Okay, magic weapon with +1 to all fire skill gems. This is the one that I want. And here are the items that I need to sell for this to work. So I would need, okay, it's not even wands, it's a rune dagger, scepter, staff, or a wand. So it has more weapon types that it's working with. So I would need a normal wand. Then 2 or more quality gems with a combined total of 40 quality and the fire tag. Okay, and that's the limiting factor and why I didn't use it before. But if we go back to the game and we take a look at the quality gem that I found before and look at the tags, it has support and duration. And now I would need gems that have the fire tag right here. And then also if I combine the quality of all my fire gems that I have with quality, the quality would need to reach 40 or higher. And only then I would get the +1 to fire. So I'm not quite sure if I can get this because quality gems in the beginning are not as common. I'm just selling some items. But if you have these items, maybe from a previous playthrough, maybe you have already leveled like a couple of other characters just to try them out, then you may already have the items and can speed up the playthrough of your new character. That's also something. In the beginning, I showed you that there are different classes, and if you don't know what kind of playstyle you prefer, I just can advise you to just play a couple different classes that could be interesting to you. You don't have to level them all the way, just try them out. They get different. I actually don't know if I said this, but in this playthrough with the Witch, I got the Summon Raging Spirit as a quest reward. But every class gets different skill gems as quest rewards. Some gems are overlapping and more than one class gets it. Like the Summon Raging Spirit is for the Witch and the Templar also gets it as a quest reward. But the Marauder, for example, doesn't get it as a quest reward. He would either has to find it or buy it later on in the game from a vendor. Because many gems get available from vendors in the later stage of the game. So when you play a ranger, for example, he will get some bow skills that I have not seen yet with my witch. And maybe you prefer another playstyle. And that's the neat part. You can just play around and try to find something that is fun to you, because that's the most important thing when playing the game, is having fun. This is actually a pretty nice helmet for the beginning. The +2 level of socketed gems. This would be a very nice way to get the level of my Summon Raging Spirit up. If I get the... Right now this item only has one socket. If I could get the sockets, well, if I could get more sockets and could get them linked, and then also have the fitting colors, then I could get my Summon Raging Spirit in there, and it would already get +2 to level. That would be a nice damage increase. But I don't think that we have the needed currency items to do this now. And here's some new gems. Okay, for us it is Desecrate. That's the spell that I mentioned before. That lets me create corpses. And when I create corpses, then I can use my Flesh Offering more frequently. I'm honestly, during the campaign, not very interested in it, but for bosses, it could be a nice damage increase as well. Okay, right here, the NPC now sells these calling wands, and let me just check. I think I just want to hide the sockets for a second. Where is it? So you can see the icon a little bit better. If you... Okay, it's not actually working in this menu. Then let me just buy this one right here. This one, if you look at the icon, these are minion ones. They always look the same, the icon, but there are 3 different tiers. This is the lowest tier one now, and it has an implicit modifier that increases the damage of my minions. If you compare it to this one right here, this one increases spell damage, so for me it's completely useless. But this one with 12% increased minion damage would be nice to have. So I will change this out now. Just put my Flesh Offering in here, and now we have more damage. That's good. Now let's take a look at our currency items. Yes, we don't have any of those. Oh, okay. Because the number of sockets can be rerolled with Jeweler's Orbs, that are these ones right here, and the links. So if you look at my headpiece, for example, okay, you can hardly see it here. Let's take this one, let's take the gloves here. You can clearly see the top 2 sockets are linked together, but these 2 not. Here is no link in between those sockets, so they are not linked. And these links can also be reforged with the orbs of fusing, which would be here, but we will only receive them later on. So currently, this item is not really useful to me. I'm just thinking if this one gives me some cold resist, some life mana, and 7 energy shield. This one right here would have 19 energy shield. And some increased rarity of items found. This could be nice for leveling, but not that big of a deal for me. And the reduced mana cost of skills would also be nice. Okay, honestly, at this point I'm too lazy to think about this, well, to change anything, so I will just leave it. And instead I will take this node right here, which increases the damage of my minions and gives me some strength and intelligence. The other two stats that affect myself are not really useful, but I want to get these life nodes right here as well at some point. And also if we look down here, there is a nice node that increases the accuracy rating of my minions, so they have a better chance of hitting the enemy, and 6% chance for my minions to deal double damage, which is actually a very nice damage increase. Okay, that should be all on this side right here, and now we can continue to the next area on this side. And here you have Einhar. This is an NPC from a previous League mechanic. If you can remember, right now we are at the Sanctum League, and I personally don't enjoy the Sanctum as much, so I skip it in most areas, especially while leveling. I don't like it at all. But that's just personal taste. I hope you like it. I hope you have fun with the Sanctum League. I enjoy the league itself, I just skipped the mechanic. And Einhar was from another league. He is an NPC, he will follow you around. And if you look at my map, you can see here this icon. This is a beast, and Einhar tells me to capture some beasts with him. So he will follow me around. He also gives me this buff right here, which increases life regeneration, gives me life on kill, which does nothing for me because I myself don't kill enemies, but my minions do. And he will also give me life leech, but for that I would need to either attack or cast a spell myself, which deals damage to enemies, which I don't do. So for me it's just the life regeneration. And now you can see here with my quest overview, I already captured 1 out of 5 beasts. So if I capture all 5 of the beasts that he wants, then the quest for him in this area would be finished and he would leave. And I would be alone in this area again. You can also see my Desecrate spell leveled up. For my Desecrate, I do not want to level it, so I right-click the plus icon. If I look at my inventory, I can see it here again. Because for this particular build, the only thing that Desecrate would do on a higher level would be to increase the mana cost and nothing else. For other builds, if you use Desecrate in another capacity, then it could be beneficial to level it. If you look here on the map, you can now see the yellow icon and the red icon for the beast. And the red icon symbolizes that there's a red beast, and red beasts are usually stronger, have more life, do more damage. And in this case, it's actually pretty helpful that there is a gap in the map, so the enemy cannot come over, but my Raging Spirits can fly over. So I only have to watch out for the effects that the enemy can use. And it was a very easy fight this way. And here you can see, because of my loot filter that I showed you before, I now have this item highlighted in a different way. It got the other background. That is because it is 3 linked sockets that are blue, red, and green. And if I sell this, I will get a chromatic orb, which is very useful. So these items in the beginning of the game, I will always pick them up. At later stages of the game, when you have already hundreds or thousands of these currency items, then that is the time when you usually switch to a stricter loot filter and hide these items. With these beasts, Einher will give you a quest that, with this icon right here, the Einher's Menagerie, you will also get an icon here. So if you're at the waypoint and you click this icon, you will teleport to his Menagerie, and there he will introduce you to his mechanic with the quests that it gives you. These enemies right here, hopefully we can find another one, we should watch out a little bit for. Because you can rewind the video if you want. These tree-looking enemies, they spawn these little yellow balls, and if you stand in the balls, they will explode and deal a high amount of damage. Early on in the game, this can be quite dangerous. So this is one of, and well, just another example of why moving in Path of Exile is always a good idea to avoid some dangerous situations. Because if you just stand still and you have 3 or 4 balls underneath you and they all explode, then early on in the game your character will most likely just die. Okay, in this area we have 3 targets for quests that we want. One is a spider cave that I usually do last. Then there is another bandit. And then there is the quest from the previous act where the NPC was fleeing and cut off the way, which I actually didn't show in the last area. But maybe you find it during your playthrough. Okay, Alira usually has a benefit if you help her that I consider sometimes of taking, because the regenerates 5 mana per second is very helpful, especially if you have some increased mana regeneration rate on your equipment or maybe on your passive skill tree. Then these 5% can help a lot later on to keep you able to cast more and more, especially for spellcasters. This is could be very helpful, but in most cases I still just kill all. I haven't really found a character where the effects outweigh the benefit of having 2 skill points for me. Okay, now I right click these auras. I don't want to level them anymore. I want to have my unreserved mana a little bit higher, so I can use another aura later on. Okay, there's another beast. So now Einher is not there yet, but if I fight this beast, he will show up. Here he is. And he captures the beast. Now I have the buff again. He also attacks. These are the red shots, which helps a little bit. I actually don't know how much damage he really does. but yeah. So this is for the quest in the previous area. The item that he drops here, I can just put into this seal, this seal right here, and then the way back to the previous area opens. If I would go through there, then I would come out where Brutus, after I killed Brutus, I got to an area with a waypoint where we started the previous episode from, and I believe if you go through this way right here, then you would go back to this area. I've never tried it, but at least from there the NPC ran away, so it would be logical. And now I'm looking for the spider cave for the last quest objective in this area. Okay, this one right here is the way to the Sanctum League mechanic, where I go through the Sanctum. If you're interested, you can play it. It would actually be beneficial in this league alone, because down here, if you play the Sanctum, you will unlock another item slot right here. And there you could place relics. There are sanctified relics that give your character an effect outside of the Sanctum. Usually relics are only affecting your character while you're inside the Sanctum, but these sanctified relics also give you a benefit outside. This is the only exception. But GGG already stated that these sanctified relics only work in the Sanctum League. I don't really know what happens with them outside of Sanctum, if they get deleted or if they are just disabled. Maybe the item slot gets disabled, I don't know. But outside of Sanctum you will not have the benefit. So once the league ends, then the benefit would be gone. So even though I only play leagues, well, always only play the current league that is active at the time that I'm playing, I still don't feel like doing the Sanctum just for this relic. Because the benefit that you get is random as well, so you could farm for days or weeks to get a good relic. Well, to get relics overall, and then don't be lucky and don't get a good one. Okay, and what I'm here is I'm currently webbed. That's why I was moved while I was moving so slow. And the web is an effect of these spider enemies. Okay. Here I could decide. Right now I only have a 3 link, but my goal is to get a 4 link in maybe the next, or in maybe 1 or 2 areas. So if I had 4 links, then I could use the minion speed support, which would increase the movement and cast speed and attack speed of my minions. My Raging Spirits would not be affected by the cast speed, but the movement speed is very nice for the clear, because when they kill an enemy, they move faster to the next one and can start attacking to kill it faster. So overall, your minions, your clear speed would be better, and the attack speed is a very nice damage increase. But later on, I will want elemental focus. That is because of a bug, but that would be relevant later on. So right now it's actually a moot point because I don't have 4 links, so I will just take the minion speed for now. And later on, if I want it, I can always come here to this NPC, check the purchase tab and see what she's selling. There should be actually something that I want. Yes, the Tempest Shield. This has a reservation of 25% mana, and while it is active, I have at level 2 in this case, a buff that grants me 18% chance to block spell damage. So if an enemy casts at me, I have 18% chance of blocking this cast. Well, this spell. And some other effects, it will cast a lightning spell that damages enemies and chains from one enemy to another one, which is not really useful for me. But the last line buff grants immunity to shock. This is one of the elemental ailments, which can be very dangerous. So for this build, my goal is to go for maximum blocks chance. So if I look at my defense tab, I want my, where is it? Chance to block attack damage is currently at 22%. This is because of my shield. The first line of the tooltip, chance to block 22%. And chance to block attack damage and spell damage are two different stats. But with this character, I will be able to get both to the maximum of 75%. And the Tempest Shield will help a lot with this to get spell block higher. And this is a very effective layer of defense for later stages of the game. Currently, I don't need it, but I will already place it right here, so I can level the gem up, because I will increase the chance to block spell damage. And then let's see what else she got. I think she should have one more thing. Yes, the summon skitterbots. This is also in reservation skill. It has a reservation of 35% mana. It summons two little skitterbots that go around to enemies. They do not deal any damage themselves, but one of the two applies a shock to the enemy, which increases the damage they take, and the other one slows the enemy because it chills it. That's the cold ailment. And if you play other skills, there are so-called trap skills or mine skills in the game that place a trap or a mine on the ground, and mines can be detonated with another skill, and traps can be triggered by enemies and then deal damage. And these skitterbots also will increase the damage of these skills, and I think they also would trigger them. But for my build, that is irrelevant. I just want the increased damage of the shock, and the chill actually is not really noticeable for me. Now you can see right here, I also have this icon, which lets me travel to my hideout. So I can just go here. This area is similar to the town, as that you cannot drop items in here. You have only the option to destroy them. But what you can do here, what you cannot do in the town, is you can cast spells. So right now I summon my skitterbots, then I will check my mana. If this feels comfortable, yes, I can cast my Raging Spirits for quite some time before I run out of mana. So it is still okay for me. So I will use skitterbots, but I will not use Tempest Shield for now, because I just don't have enough unreserved mana left. And I will also use Vitality for life regeneration and Clarity for mana regeneration. Okay, and now that I have Desecrate, I could now summon my corpses and then explode them for the increased attack speed and movement speed of my minions. And you can also see the red aura effect right here. I think that's from the Flesh Offering. Yes, now it's gone. And that also symbolizes that they are affected. Okay, then one last thing for the episode. Skill points. What do I want? Do I want more life and mana? Then I could go this route right here. I usually take these 3 nodes. If I want more damage, I could take this one right here. Later on in the game, I want to go this route right here. Here is some more life and chaos resistance for later on. Then I want to go down here to these nodes right here. This increases the damage of my minions. I want to take these nodes. These nodes here give me mana reservation efficiency. That means, let's say I reserve 100 mana. The flat amount, just 100 mana. And if I get 8% increased mana reservation efficiency, then this 100 would just be reduced to 92 mana. So a reduction of 8%. So what these nodes right here allow me is to use more aura skills that grant me or my minions bonuses by reducing the mana that they reserve. Then I also want to go down here, these nodes for life, these nodes for minion damage. Then here is some more life and armor. Here also more life. Here's some block chance that is nice for later on. And I want these life and mana nodes. Here some more minion nodes. And then up here for life. Here some spell block chance and mana regeneration. And later on in the game, when I have access to more items, these jewel sockets are very helpful. But I will show this better later on. I think for now, because I would like my mana to be up all the time and I don't need mana flasks anymore. I actually don't need this right now. I will just go this route to increase my life and mana, especially because this is a hardcore character. I always forget this because I never play hardcore. So I will focus a little bit more on survivability and less on damage right now, even though damage would mean that you kill enemies faster, so in theory you don't have to survive as long. So okay, and then we only have the last bandit right here left. But I think the episode is already pretty long, so I will just unidentify my boots. Okay, and I'm very low on town portals. Okay, finally 15% movement speed. And some nice resistances as well. These are nice. No movement speed. I'm just checking if I maybe got even luckier, but no. Okay, and I also would like to identify his helmet, but it's not as important. I will just save this one identification scroll. And these red, green, blues or RGB, I can just sell for the chromatic orb. Okay, there's a crate right here. Change the boots. Oh, okay. This is something else that I should have taken a closer look at. You can see if I look at my boots, they are red right now. And if I hover over it, the red text already shows you cannot use this item. Its stats will be ignored. So I actually don't have access to the gem that I socketed in. And also I will not receive any stats of the FXS. So no movement speed, no resistances. We can also check it in the defense tab. It has lightning resistance, for example, 13 lightning resistance, and it's only at 11 because these stats are not affecting me. And that's because of the gem. If you look at the requirements in the top, the gray text, the red 26 dexterity needed, and my character only has 24. So if I remove the gem, I still don't get it because the boots by chance also have exactly 26 dexterity requirements. So if I remove them and socket this in, okay. If I hover over it, you can see in the brackets the required level 16 and the brackets gem. That means this requirement comes from the gem. And I thought the dexterity would also come from the gem because I didn't read it right here, but it has no brackets, so it's from the item itself. But by chance, the Desecrate also has exactly 26 requirements. And right now they look blue because these boots give me 8 dexterity. That is also the reason why I am able to switch the boots out. But once they're in, the game knows, hey, I'm missing dexterity and it doesn't work anymore. So right now I have a decision to make. I do want these boots, so I can check if I maybe have some dexterity nearby. I would have this node right here or this node. So in theory, what I could do, if I really want, I have 4 refund points left. I could unspec those 2 points and spec them down here to get 20 dexterity, then I would be able to use it. It's not as important, but honestly I will just do it. I will refund passives, unlearn those 2, click on reply refunds, and then learn these 2. So now hopefully you have seen it before. There was, if not, you can rewind the video. There was also an information up here that my requirements for the items are not met. Sorry, I forgot to mention this before. And now you can see the boots are green. I can use it, and my Desecrate is also shown here in the skill menu again. And now I don't need these boots anymore. Can we actually see it? If I switch them. This was my movement speed before. And when I equip my boots, you can see I'm running considerably faster. And for me, this is always very nice. I don't like to run too slow, but I'm also not playing speedy characters. And this is RGB again, so I get a chromatic orb. Now I'm just sorting my items. And I will just equip the Minion speed support just in case I get a 4 link and I decide to use it. So maybe it will be a little bit higher level and give me a greater bonus. So that's it for this episode. I hope you have a good day and goodbye.